Hey guys, so yeah, as of yesterday evening, Valve just announced a bunch of new hardware. I wasn't expecting this so soon. I actually made a video like a month ago about a potential Steam console and what that could mean for like Linux and everything. But this console seems to be like way better than I even imagined it would be. I was not expecting it to be like this actual like sleek design, really nice looking thing. I mean, this is such a good huge deal for like Linux gaming for SteamOS. I think that Valve is really targeting people who like console gaming, right? They're really doubling down on that console experience. I've used Bazite on my main PC. I used it for a couple of months, and it is a really good like experience on the TV. There are a couple of problems, but I'll get to them in a minute. The idea of having a plug and play console that you can access all of your PC games on, or most of them at least, is like amazing. It's a dream come true, really. In terms of specs, it seems like Valve is doing it exactly what I said a month ago. They've got like a custom chip in here, but it is at the same power level as a RX 7600, which is, the 7600 is a decent card. I actually had that before I upgraded to my 9070, and it's good still at 1440p for a lot of things, but it is mainly a 1080p card now. So it says that they are able to target 4K 60 using FSR, but it does appear as though it may be using a form of FSR4, which is good because FSR4 is such a huge upgrade over FSR3. Obviously the 7600 and this chip that they're using in the Steam machine is still RDNA 3, so whether that means that AMD is actually gearing up to release FSR4 for RDNA 3 GPUs, that's up in the air at the minute. Now, there have been some hands-on. Digital Foundry did one, IGN did one. I watched the IGN one, and they were saying how games like Cyberpunk run great, but they had trouble with Silent Hill F, and that really does sort of show the limitations of what you can do with this new console. I mean, it's not going to be competing with the PS5 Pro, right? And I think ultimately it comes down to the price that this console is aiming for. I want to see the console be really competitive, because if Valve wants to take on the console market with this thing, they are going to have to price it like a console, So I personally would say that £500 to £600, like I think that is what they're going to aim for, and then they're doing a 2TB version. I think that's probably going to be like $6.99 or $7.99. Obviously, I think the fact that they're using a less powerful chip, it's going to help it go down in price. But I mean, we'll have to see. That the details are quite slim at the minute. Now, there are some issues with this console that I did bring up a couple of weeks ago when I made that previous video, and they're issues that I've brought up multiple times about Linux gaming at the minute, especially using AMD. Now, the biggest issue that I have is that the HDMI forum does not support HDMI 2.1 on Linux with AMD cards. And what that means is that whilst yes, you will be able to do 4K 60, you won't be able to do 4K 120 without some kind of sacrifice to the visual quality. You're usually going to have to do a lot of chroma subsampling, and what that does is basically it crushes a lot of the colors, and it just reduces color accuracy, and it is a noticeable problem because it's even noticeable on SteamOS when you look at the like the clock in the corner. If you have it on like a colored background, the colors bleed onto the text, right? That is one example of chroma subsampling that I think is quite noticeable, and it can be noticeable in games as well. You can get a lot of color banding, especially if you're using HDR. Again, if you're using 4K 120, then you're probably not going to get a 10-bit color output. So you get a lot of color banding, you don't get true HDR, all of that. Now, this can be mitigated if you just reduce the display output to 4K 60. In that case, you can get 444 chroma output, which still isn't like full RGB, but that is more than enough for gaming, right? But I think that for most people that is going to be perfectly fine. I don't know how many people actually have a TV that's capable of 4K 120, right? I think most people are still on 4K 60. I think some people don't even have a 4K TV or a 4K monitor at the minute anyway, so this isn't going to be a problem for a lot of people. But for the people that do have like displays that are capable of 4K 120, this is a bit of a disappointment. Now, obviously, most games you're not going to be doing 4K 120 on them, right? But there are, indie games or older games that could really benefit from this. I was really hoping that Valve would be able to push the HDMI forum to have HDMI 2.1 support on Linux, but so far they haven't. Now, who knows, maybe in the future the HDMI forum will allow AMD to use those open source HDMI 2.1 drivers. But for now, I do think that it is good enough. I think that 4K 60 is good enough. The thing that's actually excited me the most about this and hardware announcement is the new Steam controller. This thing is basically the Steam Deck controls in a controller form. It has all of the Steam input functionality. I'm currently using an Xbox Elite controller, which is great, I love it, but it does have a couple of kind of annoying things about it. You can't remap buttons and stuff, which is one of the selling points of the Elite controller. You have to keep plugging it in and then unplugging it, like resetting the settings, all of that. So having a Steam controller that actually plugs in using a wireless connection, it uses 2.4 gigahertz. It's got a special dock called like the puck, I think they're calling it, which I assume just plugs into your USB port, and then it also like acts as a charger for the Steam controller. So that's going to be pretty awesome. Like, I'm just going to plug it into my PC and just keep it on top, I imagine. It looks awesome. I love the trackpads on the Steam Deck. It enables so much more functionality for being able to play games that don't have native controller support, because again, you can remap buttons using Steam input on any controller nowadays, but you don't have the trackpads and there's just less support for other controllers. But yeah, this Steam controller is looking pretty amazing. I am expecting it to be on the expensive side because of all the features. I mean, it uses TMR joysticks, it's got 4 back paddles, it's got the trackpads, it's got like haptics. Then there's the Valve headset, which my experiences in VR are actually not, I didn't have like a great experience. I bought a Meta Quest 2 a couple of years ago and I used it like a few times and I just couldn't get on with it. The resolution was too small and it's just really heavy and uncomfortable to wear, so I didn't really get on well with the VR headset. I did really enjoy Half-Life Alyx though. I had a great time playing that game, but this new Valve headset, this is completely dependent on the pricing. I'm expecting this headset to be very expensive. Out of all of the things that they've announced, I think the Steam frame, as they're calling it, is going to be like at least $1,000. I think that it's going to be on the expensive side. So it does depend on the pricing whether or not I'm actually going to be interested in this. It also depends on like if they're going to, release Half-Life 3, but that's up in the air at the minute. But it is cool that it actually runs SteamOS natively and you can natively install games on it. I think that's an awesome feature. They are really tackling that Meta Quest target, by having this be a standalone headset as well as one that you can use with your current PC. I think that's great. It looks awesome. It's using pancake lenses, it's like 4K displays, all of that. It looks awesome. But yeah, it is going to be dependent on the price. I don't really have much I want to say about it, but yeah, in case you can't tell, I'm really excited about all of this new hardware. I think that this opens up so much potential, especially for people who are looking to get into PC gaming or PC gamers who are looking to get into Linux, which Linux is great. I love Linux. I just have a couple of issues with it, like that HDMI 2.1 support. But yeah, I think that this has so much potential, and I'm really looking forward to getting the Steam controller specifically when that comes out, and I will be making a video about the Steam controller. Yeah, I just wanted to ramble for a bit, so if you enjoyed watching this, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.